What is poppin', y'all? It's your man Cloudboy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly, where today's episode we will be making or should I say, my predictions on how I think Badgers football will do this season. A lot of unanswered questions. If I'm correct, I believe I think we're unranked going into the season, but that is expected since we have a lot of unknowns with this team. Obviously, no more Braylon Allen. Chez Mellusi's still there. A lot of new transfers on the defense, especially. A lot of unknowns. Luke Fickell into his second year. Tanner Van Dyke is now our quarterback. A lot of things to really go over. But, you know what? There's a lot of unknowns. And honestly, I'm just going to make my best predictions. We have 12 games, possibly more if we get into a bowl game, or the college football playoff, which is awesome because this is the first year where it's not 4 teams, it's 12. It's going to be it's going to be cool. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm glad that they're making college football more broadened. It's going to be really exciting. And then 2, we got some newcomers in the Big Ten. We got USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. That's going to be great. All I can say about that is I am absolutely excited for the future of college football. It's going to be interesting, but anyways, if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment your thoughts. Let's get down to it. Badgers' schedule opened up the season at home against Western Michigan. The last time we played Western Michigan was in a bowl game, back when P.J. Fleck was their head coach before he went to Minnesota. Ever since P.J. Fleck left, Western Michigan has been nothing but a dump. They've been terrible. They've been awful. Pretty much Western Michigan. This should be fairly easy win for the Badgers. Western Michigan hasn't had a winning season in the last couple of years, so my belief is they should be able to knock this one out of the park and get a good solid home win. Hopefully this is where we can finally see this air raid offense that we kind of didn't really get to see last year, but hopefully things kind of transition into a better role. Next game at home is against South Dakota, a team I'd say is slightly better than Western Michigan. But I feel like, they'll still win this one. The Badgers will still win this one because pretty much I'm like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, they should win this one. South Dakota really doesn't play well against the big competition, so it really shouldn't be an upset here. All right, so they'll start 2-0, okay? That I don't really want to go over these games. I want to get to the rest of the season. They'll start 2-0. Last home game of this non-conference stretch, Badgers going to go on and face Alabama. Of course, it's not as big now, knowing that Nick Saban, of course, is no longer the head coach. But it still is going to be tough because this is an Alabama team that is no joke. Now, I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. Now, with Saban going, and now the new head coach just came in. I forgot his name. He came from Washington, but I know that. Now that he's in there, it's like, do I really take Alabama serious or not? Still, right now I do, because of course they have a veteran quarterback in Jalen Milroe, a dual threat presence. He took this team to the playoff last year. I think, I think it's going to be a big, big year for Alabama to see how they can really. This is a big year to see the future of the organization. I think this will be a close game. However, I think Alabama will edge us out and get a close victor. And it will be a close loss, but sad. 2 weeks later, we officially start Big Ten play with a newcomer, USC. Obviously, the last time we faced USC was the Holiday Bowl back in 2016. I don't know. But it was around then. And honestly, USC, I'm kind of glad the thing didn't happen last year because then we would have had to face Caleb Williams, but now he's in the NFL. Now Packers have to face him twice a year. Boo-hoo. But hopefully he's a bust. You never know. But USC's got Mason Miller now coming in, and he's a great backup. I mean, this guy is actually going to be a stud. I think he's going to be a stud, and he's a guy that people really should watch out for. Great passer. But anyways, USC you know, their defense still stinks. And I think this is the game that's really going to test the Badgers and where we can actually see this high-octane air raid offense. I think this is the game where we finally get to see it and we get the W. It's going to be a close game because of how great USC's offense is, but I think we're going to get a good victory, a good solid victory by the Badgers on the road against USC. Following off at home against Purdue, Badgers have not lost to Purdue. They have, out of all the teams in the Big Ten, they have the longest winning streak. Purdue has not beaten Wisconsin in like forever. I say Purdue hasn't really changed as much. I feel like they'll be there, but I don't think they're really going to make any of a contest. Badgers should beat Purdue. I feel like they should. Very following week against Rutgers at Rutgers, have not played in Rutgers since 2014. That's how long it's been since we played in Rutgers. But, oh my goodness, Rutgers is actually not a bad football team. They actually had their first winning season in a long time. Their program's starting to go on the right path. They have a really good running back in Kyle Monagai, I think his name is. But they really aren't a bad team to mess around with. And you think, oh, it's Rutgers, this should be an easy win. Rutgers is really starting to go on the right path. I think the Badgers will get the win because I think they are the better team, because Rutgers has no unprovens and they don't really have the firepower and the talent that we do, but I think Badgers will squeak out another very close win. Very following game, I just realized we don't even play Illinois this year. Crazy, huh? Next game at Northwestern. Of course, Northwestern is a team that, we always struggled against. Last year, Northwestern's not that good. They have, out of all the teams, I think their quarterback is like the worst. They're just gonna be terrible this year. They should win this game. I would be shocked if the Badgers lost this one. But Northwestern's gonna really suck this year. Badgers should win this one. So we're 6-1. Great start, right? Okay, here's where things get a little bit difficult. We host Penn State. Drew Allar and then you got Allen and Singletary, those two, right? Katron Allen and Devin, is it Mike Singletary? But something like that. They have a two-headed monster at running back. Drew Allar is actually a pretty underrated passer. Penn State they're a ranked team. This is a Penn State team that for sure I think is going to be in the playoff. I don't know if they're that good, but because there's a lot of unprovens, but Penn State is gonna, because the Badgers, if it was in Penn State, I feel like we would probably get blown out. But since it's at home, we're gonna have the home crowd on our back. I feel like we're gonna get a close game, but unfortunately, it's gonna end up being a heartbreaking loss out of Penn State. I think they're going to win on a game-winning interception. They're going to have a go-ahead touchdown, and they'll win on a game-winning interception, unfortunately. That's just how I see it. Very following week, going into Iowa, we just have not done good against Iowa. As of recently, we've really played bad against Iowa. I don't want to play Iowa, but of course we have the rivalry. I want to get the Heartland Trophy back, but unfortunately I think they're going to keep it. We just have not played good against Iowa. We have not beaten them in 2 times. I feel like we're losing them 3 times. It just does not seem really good. Following week, Oregon at home. As I like to call them, our kryptonite. I hate Oregon. I hate everything about them. I hate that we have lost to them in the Rose Bowl all the time, and I just don't like Oregon. I hate them. I hate them with an absolute passion. I can't stand their uniforms. Their uniforms and courts on the basketball give me migraines. I just hate Oregon. I just don't know why they always seem to beat us in everything. Dylan Gabriel is at Oregon now. He obviously decided to transfer there for one last year. Oregon right now, I think, is the team to beat in the Big Ten. They are the best team, most complete team in the Big Ten. My eyes, I think Oregon legitimately has a team good enough to actually win the whole thing this year. I think that's how good Oregon actually is. So, without further ado, I think this one will be a loss because Oregon is really freaking good. But if we are able to beat Oregon, I will be impressed. Following week, in Nebraska, a team that ever since joining the Big Ten, we have only lost to them once in 2012. It's been that long. We have beaten them every single year, whether that be a championship or a regular season game. But the last couple of games have been really close, and we've been squeaking out the luckiest of wins. It's been a rivalry with Nebraska, I can tell you that. Unfortunately, because these last two games have come down, like last year it came down, we were trailing, it came down to overtime, and we somehow squeaked out the win. Previous season had to literally a go-behind touchdown in the final seconds. I mean, this is the year I think Nebraska will unfortunately beat us. I just think Nebraska's really going on the right trajectory. There's really, now that they have a quarterback with NFL experience, I forgot his name, he was on the Panthers. Now that they have a guy, I think Nebraska's going to actually beat us this year. I hate that I'm saying this. And then at home, Minnesota. Got to go and get the axe. Got to keep the axe. I forgot. We won it last year. Of course, Minnesota was so bad last year, they booted out Ethan Kaliakmanis. Now, I think he's at Rutgers now. Yeah, he's at Rutgers. I forgot. So we would face him at Rutgers. But now, Minnesota's got Max Brosmer, a guy who threw 70 touchdowns last year. I don't know how I'm feeling about this game, but I feel like I'm just happy that we're at home. I don't want to be in Minnesota because I feel like it's going to be difficult. But this is, I think, the year that Minnesota really needs to prove himself, or they're going to fire Fleck. I think that Minnesota's going to have about the same mid-type season as we do. I think we retain the axe. We beat Minnesota. Fleck gets fired. Because if there's a coach I hate more than anybody in the freaking earth, NFL or college, I cannot stand PJ Fleck. I want to punch him in the face. I hate him so much. I don't know why. He just is annoying. I can't, and he only wanted to be the Minnesota coach to beat us, and I hate that. I just want to, I thought last year we ended his Minnesota tenure. If he has another losing season this year, that's it. Because all the last of his recruits that were really good, I don't know if he has many people coming in now, but I think we'll beat Minnesota. I'm very confident. Minnesota's going down this year. The Badgers finished with a 7-5 record, but you know what? It's still a learning process. I'm not going to sit there and say Fickell's going to be outstanding. If we had the normal Big Ten that it was the same way, I think we would actually win the Big Ten. Because I think, fairly honestly, the only team that really scared me was Iowa. That's the only team. There's not really many teams that scare me in the Big Ten anymore. Now that we added in these other teams, it's going to make things a lot more difficult. And I think it's going to be another year until we really see the Fickell-Longo effect take over. I don't think it's this year because this is a really hard schedule. I mean, Oregon and USC and Alabama. We still got to face Alabama next year, and then I think Ohio State too. But it's like, we just got to get these experience. And I hope next year we can really finally have one of those young guys start, because I get the transfer portal. I think the transfer portal's really ruined all of college football. But a 7-5 record is just, with the way we've been the last couple of seasons, 7-5 record. I honestly had them as a losing season before, but then I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I think we can win some games. I think Van Dyke is a better passer than Mordecai, so I think we can maybe he benefits Longo's system more. I don't know. Lots of unknowns, but if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts. And the Badgers kick off things on Friday night against Western Michigan on FS1. We will see you next time. Go Badgers!